It's strange, isn't it, that for Marshall, I mean, his relationship with Mum was so important to him in childhood. And Dad was a distant rumour from Mum, really. I mean, although they were in the same house, I mean, my goodness. It was a nightmare of a relationship they had with each other, in a way. And yet, I grow up to finally embracing God as Heavenly Dad, along with the Jesus story. Contrary to the sort of primal secularity of my parents and myself up to the age of 24. Well, what I wanted to say was the incredible importance, value of a mum who loves you. I was an only child, and she may well have been driven by a bit of guilt in not having me with her much at all, right up to the age of 5. And, well, she certainly made up for it, my goodness. And you know, it's the ideal that we do, isn't it, with our kids? And really with anyone we love. We constantly make ourselves alive to what would help their life to be better. And not just better now. It's not just cream cakes and encouragement, but more than that, it's absolute desire that their future be wonderful, if at all possible, and to try and anticipate every difficulty they might have to face, especially in the case of a child without you, because you know they'll be off on their life perhaps, and you may be in glory by then. You don't know, do you? So you try and anticipate everything that will help and be a blessing. You know, Mum used to say to me, she said, well, you might be living on your own at some point and need to look after yourself, and I want you equipped to be able to do it. So I knew how to do every household job, didn't I? You know, whether it was the laundry or cooking or even sewing if necessary, you know. She tried to anticipate, and that included things like poetry and so on that might encourage me, like Omar Khayyam, you know, the Rubaiyat. In other words, she wanted me to be spiritually equipped, even though she wasn't religious. But she was loving, you see. And that's what loving kindness is. And of course I attribute to God, of course, that he's full of loving kindness. And I do see that as a feminine quality because of my upbringing. Its strengths and its lacks. Mum's view was, you know, that people were the victim of circumstance, not that they were responsible for their mistakes. What would you expect having the deprivations that so many of us have had? In other words, there was a natural compassion for the poor, not for the rich, I might point out. Because, of course, she saw the rich as abusing their power and, if you like, hoarding their wealth to themselves. And, you know, far from being impressed with something like the pyramids or something, or a cathedral, she'd say, what about the poor sods that built it and died building it? You know, it's someone else's glory, isn't it? She was a socialist at heart. Took the Daily Mirror. Dad was a conservative. Took the Daily Express. And the Financial Times, well, of course, that was because he was a city man and that's part of his image. I'm not sure how much of it he really read. I suspect he read bits of it. And the Financial Times is not, well, it's not an intellectual, wasn't an intellectual paper. I don't know if it's changed now. In fact, I don't know if it even exists now. I suspect it does. These things die hard, don't they? Part of our culture. And of course, well, like her mother before her, when husband died, she took on some of his character and traits. In the case of my grandmother, she took up smoking, would you believe? A Catholic lady took up smoking when Granddad died. Oh, bizarre. And Mum took up reading a Daily Express. It's as if you need that person around still, and you know it, and you incorporate the memory of them, from the memory of them into yourself, and almost carry on as before, and continued hating him, I might point out, for the next 2 or 3 decades, even though he was dead. I shouldn't repeat such now because it's not really to her credit, was it? Not at all. But we're human, aren't we? And we extend that grace in the conviction that people are a consequence of their cause and conditions, the which they do not have power over, where they're born, what culture, what religion, what lack of it, etc., etc., etc. Thy loving kindness is sweeter than life to me. My lips shall praise thee, thus will I bless thee. It's amazing we bless God by having a good opinion of him. How wonderful we can actually give something to God. Our thanks and our praise, our gratitude. And he blossoms accordingly. Isn't that just lovely? Love you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad.